greetings everyone. Welcome to today's session of Monday Munching and Musing with Women for Water. This session is conducted with the support of Water Resource Council of Women Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry in collaboration with W4W Foundation and media partner Counterview. My name is Anubhuti Shekhar and I am the National Youth Representative of Community of Wiki Water Resource Council. I am joined today by Dr. Bhargav, who is currently holding the position of National President of Wiki Water Resource Council and also the Founder Director of W4W Foundation. Welcome.
Hi. Hi.
Today, in this session, we are here to listen and know more about Lubna Sarwath. Dr. Lubna from Hyderabad is a well-being economist and socio-political environmental activist. Founder Director of Center for Wellbeing Economics, Hyderabad, Founder General Secretary for Sosha Foundation, Hyderabad. Formerly convener for SAVE, our Urban Lakes from 2013 to 2018 and visiting lecturer at Tri Shakti University, Jakarta, Indonesia. She has also served on editorial board of an international refereed journal, International Journal of Ethics and System, Emerald Publication, UK from 2014 to 2021. She has approached various judicial agencies in India for social and environmental causes. She has also been part of various well-being economist connection related to archaeological monuments, Golconda Naya Killa that has 4 connected water bodies. As a well-being economist, she believes that ecology is economy and environment is development. She is the state president of Wiki Water Resource Council for Telangana. Welcome to today's session of Monday Munching, Lubna. We are so excited to have you in today's session and very eager to hear from you. My first question to you is, how do you started your journey in the field of water? How do you associate your journey in the field of water?
Yeah, before I even start, I would like to remind ourselves that today being October 16, it has been declared the theme of the World Food Day. Today is World Food Day, and the theme has been declared on water, that water is life and water is food. So I am really happy that we gathered on this very important day where food itself is been associated with water and water has been termed as food, which is the fact. So it's nice that we have gathered on this occasion. Regarding journey, I think the last point that you said, where ecology is economy and environment is development, that's where I come from. And I am a very open and strong critique of mainstream economics. And that's how I find myself that I want to protect environment because economy is not for money, but economy is for life. And similarly, environment also is for life. So that's how these two are very, very highly intricately connected. And that's how I find or I'm found vehemently propagating for sound environment, because that bodes for a sound economy, which is sound life.
Right. And how did you started your journey in the sector? What was your clicking point that you wanted to be in this sector of food, economy, water? When did you decide that you want to do something like that?
Yeah, so that will take me before my doctorate in economics, wherein I was a banker, a managerial cadre banker, selected with a very high ranking, but I chose to resign. Even though I was directly selected for that at the national level, I chose to resign because of 2 reasons. I'm open of those reasons on all platforms. The 2 reasons being, one is Islam prohibiting interest. And the second is that I found that as a practical banker there and as an official signing the loan proposals, I found that interest was not tenable, and even the small borrower and the big capitalist borrower, everybody are wanting the funds from the bank and everybody are paying interest. The one who is not earning sufficiently, the one who is not earning surplus, both are paying the interest. And I didn't understand why, how come they are at par? They are not at par. So these many things of this sort, and understanding that the very important thing is that the lending policies, and when we are lending to any particular proposal also, it is not interacting with many factors that it should. Like, it was like a, when you go for auto, in my case, in many of my branches where I handled, when we are sanctioning for autos as a priority sector, for autos as a part of self-employment, the passenger autos. Well, what happened was, there was no study, without any thinking of what are the impact of all the factors. Like, are the autos now sustainable on the present roads on this city? And if so many autos start emitting, will it sustain the environment? Will it really give the livelihood? If so many autos are there on the road, will it give livelihood to everybody who's taking an auto? So the priority sector being automobile, and then giving away the loans, was not interacting with so many other factors. So I found that there is seriously something lacking in all these, in this policy of lending, apart from my own botheration that interest is not is prohibited, and learning from the modern economics, that Keynes, the father of modern economy, also told that it's a zero interest economy economy that is the most recommended one. So many of these interacting factors actually clicked me and told that this is not my cup of tea, and I had to resign. And then I searched for these PhD in economics based on Islamic economics, where interest will not be considered as a for sound economy. And there also, even in my thesis, I spoke about the Copenhagen summit, where all the factors were not interacting. And that's how the environmental solutions that were coming out of those youth summits were not actually tenable, were not working on the ground. So even in my thesis of economics, my case studies are based on these summits, and it actually got published in the open tech in the open press in Europe also. My Copenhagen summit, which I drew with a diagram and telling that so many factors are affecting, and they are not but they are not being talked about at the table for solution. So how can the solution come about? I hope I was able to give a little.
Right. Thank you so much, Lubna. One thing, like you mentioned, that how you decided to resign your position where you were getting a position to represent nationally. So were there any doubts before doing that? Were there any sort of family or societal pressure that you felt that is this the right path you were taking? Did you ever feel that way before, like, shifting towards doing something like this?
Yeah, societal pressure was not there at the time of resigning, because I didn't confide with anybody. It was only later that everybody were just, it was like a bomb for them, bomb decision. Because when you are in a managerial cadre in a bank, right from the morning paper that comes to your home, it is all reimbursed by the bank. That's the level of life as a bank managerial or an officer cadre. So when I leave that, it actually created a storm in my family. In the entire family, the khandan jo bolte hai na, a family background, it was a storm for many years. I was recognized only as that woman who resigned from the bank. So that's how I was recognized also in the society. Yes, later when people learned, I was actually told after some years also, I was told by the union representatives that even now you have a chance to get in, because there are chances like that, because union is very strong there. If a person wants to get again, I was told even that, but it was decided. And that is how I did not take a single loan from the bank, because I was preparing myself that I have to quit this position. So I had never taken any loan except for the one festival loan, which gets with free of interest. And it used to just get deducted. Suppose we take some 10,000 in 10 installments, it's there for all the staff, officials, for everybody. It's called festival loan. Anybody can take it. That was the only loan I took. There was no other loan that I was taking, not even credit cards. Till date, I don't have a credit card. I never took one. So that's how it was. It was a bit tough. It was tough. But I never repented. There was no scope for repenting, because I knew that this is not what works. This is not what works. Economy should not run on an interest, because we always learn in our books from the school level that money is a medium of exchange. In interest, what happens is money itself is treated as a commodity, whereas money is in exchange for commodities. Money cannot be a commodity. If money is traded as a commodity, then we are seeing the repercussions across the world.
Right, Lubna. Our main motto of like having this session, like Monday Munching session, is to like know more about how your journey as a woman has been in the water sector. So we want to know more about how did you balance your life being in such a difficult profession where people say that you have to like be on the ground most of the time, work on the field, and you have to do a lot of compromises to be in this field. So was it true in your case? So how did you like over these years balance your life being a professional and a homemaker? Because we all women are like a homemakers. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So what I would like to tell here is that challenges will be there. But ultimately, what matters is that the challenges don't seem, they are true, actually real challenges. They are biting us, actually, those challenges. But in front of the mighty work that is there, which we find a serious lacunae, where the system which is there, which is meant to protect, whether you say environment, in our case, in environment, water bodies, water courses, where there's a set system, and there are people in charge who are supposed to do what they're doing, and they are not doing, and we see the long repercussions. As a visionaries, we see what is going to happen, and we are bothered about the present generation and the future generation, and what will happen to the people. And when we have this botheration, I found that even we tend to lose our hobbies also. There is no longer time to go and sit on a lake shore. It's a decade since we have done that, more than a decade since we have done that. And it's just about, how do I protect that water course? How do I protect that greenery, that rock, that thing that is meant for people's life? It's all about that. How about their rights? How about they being able to be empowered? It's more about all this than about now any hobby pursuing. So I know all my hobbies actually crumpled, and livelihoods matter. But when we think about this huge task, and we have taken it on our own, knowing it as our responsibility, being a part of the society, the challenges, they are biting, actually, we are knowing them, but they don't seem to anyway come in front of our job. That much I can say. They hurt, they bite, yes, because we are actually feeling those. But when we are doing something, they don't seem to come in the way, in any way, to stop us from doing what the public work that we want to do. That's my experience.
Right. So, Lubna, we always talk about how women have faced problems in the sector because water is a sector where a lot of men are dominant. Being from a different religion, like Hindu, Muslim, if we talk about that religion, do you feel that there were any challenges that you had to face being from a different religion, having a different background? Did you ever feel that way, that people were biased with their thoughts when you went on the field, or any instance that you would like to share or tell that you went through?
No, I would like to tell commonly that I had a lot of support, and me being I wouldn't say a different religion, from maybe we can say it's a minority religion, because it is a minority religion. So I never faced people. I found that when we are talking, when we are plain working without any riders and very focused and telling that we need those common resources for everybody, and we are that focused and that plain, believe me, they people never bother about your community, about your religion, they never bother. There are elements, there will be black sheep everywhere, and I do face that. I face them also. But the number of those whom I faced was smaller. The number who actually did not bother about anything but what I was speaking and tried to cooperate with me in that number was larger. I want to put this on record. It is that. And in so much so that because of these, because the CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board guidelines of idle immersion in water bodies, they have a special manual and a guideline issued by the MOEF. And when these guidelines were not being followed, I led a delegation of around 5 people who are devout Hindus and who celebrated the Ganesh festival without spoiling any water body. They did that, and I led the delegation, and I led it to the VHP headquarters in Hyderabad, and the Ganesh Utsav Samiti president was there, and the VHP top officials were there, and we and they sat in their headquarters and we spoke, because I took the appointment for speaking, for dialoguing. And I'm cutting everything short. It was a huge 1 or 2 hour dialogue. My friends explained to them that this is how we celebrated, but we never spoiled any water body. So I invited them. I told them that in the history of the world, the Telangana, the Hyderabad, we all are recorded as saviors of water bodies. But you are going down as a polluter of a water body. So I invite you all to this side. Please come. Let us all together save the water bodies. So this is how we dialogued with them. So ultimately, it's our work that will speak. I believe in that. There will be black sheep. There were black sheep. The people who troll me, I know them all. They're from where? But that shouldn't matter for me. And my handling of trolls is also, I have adopted a strategy wherein the person should get tired of trolling me, and the person will never receive a single reply from me. And I go on with my own trend of posting whatever I'm doing without even replying. I found the trolls go silent. They were tired. I adopted this strategy because one reason for that is I don't have time to reply. I lack time to reply. I feel that, oh, I must give him some peace of mind, but there's no time. Then I thought, for how many times will I go on replying? That will exhaust my time. So I adopted a strategy by wanting that these people should be ignored. And when I saw the results that the trolls automatically stopped, then I thought, oh, this is a good strategy, that you ignore them and they feel bad. They must feel bad. So that's how I try to handle.
Yes, I think that's very rightly said, that when you go on the ground and talk to people, you must be confident and you need to gain their trust of the things that you're doing on the field. So it makes a lot of difference when you gain that trust. The people do not care of your religion or
Yes.
the background you come from. They just see how beneficial this conversation is going to be. So I think very well you put it into words. I think about the trolling also, that we need to ignore all the bad people. Thank you so much. It was a great talk with you. I will just hand it over to Dr. Mansi to take it from here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anubhuti.
Thank you, Anubhuti, for initiating the conversation. And Lubna, it is always wonderful to speak to you, know that, because we both speak our hearts, and that is something which also connected both of us. So
yes,
let me just start with something which I would like to honor you, if I have the ability to. If someday in India we will start talking about who were the ones who were fighting for the rights of the lakes, you are going to be really on the top list of people. So kudos to you for that, for constantly fighting and not listening and not getting buzzed with what people say. And I wish I could also honor you by saying the PIL lady of our lakes of this country, you know. So I don't even know anyone else in this country who has really gone through the legal battles for so many lakes as you have done. So I really have huge respect for you. And you know that very well, by the way. So I am just again putting it on record here. I would like to discuss with you from here on, as Anubhuti was talking about it, because you have left a very comfortable profession and endeavored into a profession which has lot of uncertainties, which has almost no future for that matter. We are here for more than 2 decades and nearly 3 decades, both of us are there. And the battle seems never ending. Uh, in this kind of situation, where do you see the role of women? Because I also know we have common very good friends, including Jasleen Jairat and all, who introduced me to you. The role of women in the water sector seems getting stronger every day, but at the same time, it seems that the journey is way too long where women will have really a good voice, because we know that we have much more clarity on being pro-environment than pro-development. So what's your take on the role of women in the water sector?
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. Whenever we find this, whether it's drought or floods, which
Yes,
every city, and we recently saw the first half fortnight of September across the globe, the huge wave right from America to
yes,
Japan and Spain and Europe, everywhere it was floods.
unprecedented.
Unprecedented it was. And whether it is war or natural disaster or a man-made disaster like war, which is ongoing,
Ongoing.
or it's not war, it's attack and invasions. So these anyway, everywhere it is the woman who is in charge. Like, Anubhuti told that at any level we are homemakers. She was so
Yes,
right in putting it so delicately.
yes,
At any level we are homemakers, right from small times. We do some
yes,
domestic thing. So we are all homemakers. So at home, when we are trying to see some things that everybody has the necessity, the chief thing of that will be the provision of water. And
yes,
we ensure that everybody, whether it's the municipal drinking water or the mineral water or whatever, some water has to be there for everybody. In this very light, I would like to tell that the policy should be such that each time when we are advocating to the government, we are telling that make the people of a locality dependent on the water body in their vicinity. And when you do that by policy, the people in the vicinity, believe me, will abandon their gold and diamonds and will take care of the water body like that, because they have to get their drinking water from there. The government has told it by policy. So which these sort of innovative policies that we are repeatedly recommending the government, which is falling on deaf ears, of course. At this juncture, it is when I say the people in the vicinity, I actually mean, I say people, but I actually, in my mind, I have only women at heart, because the
yes,
women who can take care of that. Women know the needs of, because they have such as pressure. But even if the working woman, even she has more pressure about at home, the provisions for everybody at home should be there. She carries it on her head even when she's working. So the water body or the water courses, whether it's not just, I'm not talking about the lakes, I'm talking about, there are wells, there are surface water bodies, there are river tributaries, there are channels, and the other things that go with sustaining a water body, like the tree cover, the rock sheets, all these are very, very related to the water body, to the life of the water body, to the life of the biodiversity, which is again required for the water body. So all these things, you can say them accessories, like, the
yes,
main other things, for all these, if when I say that the people in the vicinity of a water body, a particular radius should be demarcated and they should be made dependent on it, so they will automatically take care of it, I mean women, because nothing more than women doing the job. And I'll tell you one sad thing, which I observed in, especially in Hyderabad. Hyderabad is huge. The GHMC area is huge. It's more than 700 square kilometers. And in all this area, you will be sad to know that there was a particular culture, even in 2014, 2015 also I saw, just our Telangana came in 2014. So even before that I saw, and even in 2014, 15 I saw that every lake on the bund, the women used to keep selling the fresh fish, and the fishermen used to give it. And this was the culture. But somehow every fishermen association to whom all we approached across the GHMC area, every association president, everybody told us that we have been told by the government that you no longer fish because the water is polluted. So they stopped giving them licenses to fishing. Instead of upgrading the water quality and making it suitable for the fishermen's livelihood, for the nutrition which the people is going, look at the number of repercussions. The fishermen, their livelihood, the biodiversity requiring the fish there, and the aquatic life in the pond, in the lake, in the watercourse, and then coming to the nutrition of the people, and the culture where the society is coming on Saturdays and Sundays with the children coming and purchasing the fish from the fish woman. It's mostly the woman who will be selling over there. So all these have matters so much, even the lady lost so much of employment there. And when we approached them, they were like, on labors, they were taking up auto rickshaws. We asked them, what are you doing now? With so many people, hundreds and thousands lost away their livelihood because it's in hundreds of lakes that you suddenly stop fishing. And we get fish from outside. So when I say that a particular, it's like satellite cities, the concept. Or the very recent phenomena that's catching up in the West is also about the homeland economics. It's about economy within a particular region and how you can actually sustain yourselves there. So when you have so much of abundance of water, green cover, rock sheets, and so many of nutritious food available from that same water courses, I mean, why are we losing it? And why are we not doing something to restore it, to retain it, to get back the entire culture, the livelihood, the smiles, the employment? I mean, this is a classic case of environment and employment, environment and development.
We are getting things from outside. That is another problem because we are dividing something out there. Very classic case with them. And
yes, we are stealing from them. I won't hesitate to tell that we are stealing from them.
Yeah, I like the way you use wonderful, strong words. Let me just ask you a question on leadership here, because you articulated it very well that when we talk about water and also water at home and water in the public well, women are at the center of it, whether it is for ensuring at home or for livelihood, for running their houses, and overall women in economy. While we talk about it, we are also mindful that these things will not change unless and until women leadership is well represented. And we are focusing only in the water sector. I'm sure you recall the fact that there are not many women leaders in the water sector. Although at Wiki Water Resource Council, we are really working hard to gather as many as women experts we can get across the country, and we need help from all the state council members and especially state presidents to get us more women so that together we become a strength. It's like a muthi, so rather than one finger talking about this is wrong, we can really go like that. But the bleak presence of women leadership in the water sector makes the life of a woman in the last mile even worse. And this is where we are trying to encourage and find out the reason of the meager presence of women leadership. What is your take on this, a very poor representation of women leadership?
See, in Hyderabad also and in Telangana also, it's actually there are more women. There are more women talking on water. And even today, a very new message has come from one lady. I was so encouraged and happy to have a woman's message for me on a screen recording that I've done on 3 water bodies. So I was very happy. Hey, it's a woman. I mean, that feeling came inside me. Hey, it's a woman. So I was so happy. Always getting it from males and females, this makes a difference maybe. But given that it is women who run more behind the tankers from the lower classes. And given that when it is urban floods also, the calls and the concerns that are got from the upper class, even that was women. It is mostly women who approached me that we are facing this, Lubna, this is what we are facing in our new phone, new people, it's women who are actually calling. And women who are concerned, be it from the upper class also, who were telling that during the urban floodings, their cellars got drowned, and their cars got drowned. These are all from the upper class women. And also when you see the lower class, it is the women who are running around with the empty cans and other things. So, but it requires one thing, that the support that we get, I have seen instances, and they are on record. The instances where one woman was standing outside the fenced, there's a GHMC fencing of the lake. One woman, along with all the local fishermen and all the local people, upper class, low class, everybody is standing outside the fence and telling that the officials and protesting in protest, and inside the fence, the GHMC and all the officials have laid the road. So we were protesting against that you yourself have demarcated the official fencing. How can you put a road inside and tell that that is a walking track? Is walking track inside the FTL permitted? No. You should use the buffer zone for that and not concretize, but use it as a social fencing. You can do that. But when you find that the one woman along taking everybody from all classes is protesting outside the fencing, there is another woman who is actually with all the officials inside the fencing on the illegal road, agreeing in compliance with the officials, is celebrating something called some environmental function on the illegal road. So what is required here is a lack of hypocrisy, a lack of clarity that would have made the two women come and actually make wonders. Yes. But that's not happening. They are actually on the side of who are doing illegal things and whom we are fighting out, whom we are negotiating with, whom we are talking with, whom are telling, no, please don't do that, it's wrong. And on that same road, the huge corporate hospitals, sunshine hospitals, park their vehicles on that walking track inside the FTL of the lake, which we opposed. Huge vehicles are parking over there. So these are the things that actually the cause is suffering there, and the people are suffering there. Had these two women, had the woman inside understood her mistake, realized where she is wrong, she was wrong. It's not that they didn't know that. They knew that. When the government is actually giving them funds and telling you conduct something here, the government is dividing the activists. And if one activist says yes, and the other activist says, no, I will stand by the law, you too, please stand by the law, then there is a division and the cause is suffering. Otherwise, it would have been a huge thing it would have been a huge benefit for Telangana, huge benefit for Hyderabad. I mean, and there was no way where this woman would try to compromise by telling, okay, let us agree with the officials. No way. Because I want to tell you, when I go to talk to the officials, and then when nothing is coming out, then I'm forced to go to the court. It's not my hobby to go to the court, but I'm forced to go to, So when we go to the court, and when we apply for RTI's information, we have been openly offered. I have been openly told by the officials, Lubna, madam, please choose a lake, madam. We will give you the funding. I said, what? I said, for what? I said, madam, you can choose a lake and you can do good for that lake, madam. We will fund you. I said, when you as an official want to better a lake, is this by policy, this step? That the activist is coming to your place for some documents and you offer them, tell that you choose a lake, madam, for bettering a lake, we will fund you. Is this by policy? Is this your methodology to better a lake? So we are not immune to all this. We are facing all this. But we decided to stand in favor of law, rule of the law, work ethics. We opted to stand this side of the fence and not on that side of the fence. So the people who were inside the fence knew what they were doing. So there was no scope for me to join hands there. It was the other person to realize the mistake and join the hands here. So cause was suffering. I feel the pain inside me that the cause is suffering, but what can we do?
It's a very important point which you raise on sisterhood, and especially doing things according to the law of the land instead of compromising just because something needs to be done. And this is extremely crucial. And I think when we talk about women leadership, one thing which I am always alarming, especially young girls and women, that let us not ape the men and do the same mistakes what men have been doing,
Yes.
Otherwise, we are getting produced as women looking, behaving like men, And this is a serious problem in working on women leadership. And time and again, I have been alarming and warning people that be very mindful that there is this thin fence where you have to hold on to your ecofeminism, I mean, you will be really tempted and you will be distracted to go beyond and take on that masculinity approach of development, and you will not realize that when you start doing something wrong.
Yes.
And the simple thing which you have to do, and you have shown that by doing it over these years, is just follow the law of the land.
Yes.
We don't have to do anything. We have the most extensive environmental law written in this country. And what is very interesting about you is that despite not coming from the law background, you have such a wonderful command over it. In fact, you also have a wonderful command over politics of land and politics of lake. And let me just extend my question of leadership to you from that angle, in a way that if we are trying to nurture more women leadership, what do you think we can do differently as we are, I mean, I will set all of you as already established women leaders, but then what kind of additional skills young women and emerging women leaders should really adhere to be recognized as leader? And two definite important things which we just discussed is not fall into the shoes of the men and definitely follow the law of the land. It is as simple as that. But additionally, some tangible skills which are extremely required. And for one skill I can see with you is resilience. I mean, I can really put it just on your face that Lubna said resilience, seek lena. It is as simple as that. But what are the other leadership skills you think are important for a woman to really emerge as leader, or others to recognize a woman as a leader?
See, very sensitive question actually.
Yes.
And I want to put it on record, that there is one, it's not skill, it is a trait. And that
Yes.
trait is being ethical.
Yes, very well put. I nailed it. You just nailed it with one word, being ethical.
Being ethical. So what I want to tell you is that ethics is not the monopoly of any gender.
Yes, just like leadership.
Just like leadership. So when you say that we don't want to step into the shoes of men, I did not agree with it because we have wonderful men from whom we have to learn.
Absolutely.
And similarly, we have wonderful women from whom we are learning, and we need to learn. So ethics is not connected to any gender. And if I want anybody from the younger generation or my peers to develop anything in them, the 3 E's that I am at least working on from my foundations or anyway, it's of course about environment, then education, and the 3rd E is ethics. So when it's ethics is nothing big, it is just about being fair-minded. At any given moment of time, be fair-minded. That's all. It's not a big thing. I won't even want to use the word moral. I want to just say ethics and give a small definition of that, being fair-minded. Just be fair-minded in any given position of time. I think that is a very important leadership character, and not bothering about anything else, So when we put ethics as the main point there, like in my thesis also, I emphasize that even technology cannot be ethic neutral.
No.
When we see that technology also should be going through the filter of ethics. it is then that we will find the technology should be environment compliant. Nowadays, we find technology that is not environmentally compliant. For example,
Yes.
once upon a time, plastic was thought of as a boon.
Yes.
Today, we don't know how to get rid of it. Now, similarly, we are hastily telling ourselves that electric vehicles are the way to go.
Yes.
Today, we are telling that, but nobody is ready to talk about the amount of battery, the lithium or the cadmium, where are we going to get it from, and how much of mining environmentally sustainable it is. And the worst thing is, the technology doesn't talk about what do we do at the stage of disposing.
Yes, the
Where
life
do we
after
close
the
loop?
life cycle.
Yes, where is the closing of the loop?
Nobody is talking about it.
Yes, and when the battery is going to be not going to be rechargeable and it's going to be a waste, it's going to be a waste, a hazardous waste, how do you dispose it? And we are increasing it without a study on all these. We have already decided that electric vehicles is the way to go. So there, technology has not been filtered through ethics. Technology cannot be ethics neutral. It has to be going through the
nuclear energy is classic example here.
Yes, and nuclear energy is a classic example. And we are there at Fukushima. We are actually putting all that in the sea.
Into the sea.
In the sea. And I'm one of the signatories to tell them that stop, you cannot do that. Because where are the study reports? You should have thought about the disposal of nuclear waste when you are actually starting the technology to develop the nuclear energy. So this sort of the closing the loop is actually very unethical. Why it is unethical? Because we are drawing something from the nature and we have to see that it gets assimilated with the nature again after we use it, after the component is used back. Otherwise, what will happen to it? Either this generation or the future generation is going to be negatively impacted, then that's unethical. Unethical of this present generation that I get the profits by giving some product to somebody and I'm not bothered about what's the repercussion. That's unethical. So these sort of bringing ethicality into every field, whether it is the economic field, the interest factor, the technology that is not compliant with the environment, the policies that are not going to be compliant with the environment, and also in the mindset, when we are doing any job, being fair-minded. If that is there, much of the corrupt tendency also will not be there. Much of the communal tendencies will not be there, because you just got to be fair-minded. You got to be ethical, come what may. So these are, I think, this is where the woman should take lead. This is where because a woman is not only being ethical, but is transferring the ethicality to the next generation, her own in her home, whether it be her kids or her family kids or siblings kids or outside in the world, wherever we are. If we try to tell, and this is the one trait I keep telling this, the world today doesn't lack in finances, not in natural resources, not in technology. Anything. It lacks in ethics. If the huge invasion and attacks are happening in the Palestine, it's due to lack of ethics, and they all know it is unethical, but it goes on like that. It goes on. So that's where there's any sort of...
Well put. So, and most important trait in your mind, apart from education and environment, of course, as you mentioned, I think environmental ethics is extremely crucial. And we both come from highly theoretical backgrounds, so we know that water ethics itself is a huge body of literature and scholarship available in the world, where water injustice, water justice are all discussed. So coming from there, let me just deviate a little bit and ask you a question on, from ethics, we move on to the role of partnership. So you are part of many organizations, associations. You also did some, endeavors with politics for a while, and large network of people who some way or the other mean good, and they do believe that there is some strength and some possibilities of doing something of your own and also collectively when you are part of an association. So I like to understand from you about role of these kind of associations. For example, Wiki Water Resource Council is now a well-established council, and we all are going to work together to make it, well settled within the, not only the chamber, but also within the ministry, hopefully soon. What do you think are the do's and don'ts and benefits a person is envisaging from these kind of platforms? And what can the person also offer to these kind of platforms? It's a give and take.
Yeah, one thing, that the platform, what it offers is when we are taking up an issue, and we speak as a platform, it matters.
Yes.
It matters. It matters for the people who are receiving us and who are looking at the cause, who are not just looking at the cause, but also looking at the person's platform.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a combination that plays a different sort of a role than an individual. When an individual is going there, maybe in some cases, the individual itself becomes like an
bigger than the
institution.
platform.
Yes, it happens. That also happens. But still, it does matter that when a person is taking a cause to a particular from where the people who are accountable, when we take it there, yes, they look at the cause because they already know what the cause that lady who will come up with, and they know the lady also, but they also look at the background. How strong is that platform? So sometimes what happens, this platform plays a role there.
Yes, absolutely.
Because they look, but they know the cause, they know the woman thoroughly, but now they look at the platform. Oh, how strong is that platform? Will that platform bring us that influence, or this will influence, or maybe it will come backlash to us from that platform? These are the things that will play a role. So for the individual and the organization, again, they should be a match. There should be a match, and if this match is not there, then the people who know this individual and who knows the cause, they should not find a mismatch between the individual and the organization she is presenting over there. That will be very important. And as you rightly said, there will be a give and take. Like I said, the cause, it's not about I'm not concerned about the individual. I mean the cause. The cause should be, organization should be strengthening the cause. Like they should be taking into consideration, oh, this organization, maybe it will bring us a backlash, so better solve the cause. So they should be that should be the sort of a impact, a pressure on them. In that situations, yes, the organizations will have a very huge influence on the cause. Now the individual giving to the organization, when a individual is taking up a cause, if the individual is taking it up very fairly, without any riders attached and with very fair-mindedness, then the organization benefits.
Absolutely.
That is what matters. Because as an individual is scaling up the work to higher and higher officials, when the cause and the individual is known across the institutions, across the board, across the judiciary, across everywhere, and the individual is passing it on, actually knowingly and unknowingly, all that goes to the organization, and rightfully should go, because
it should go.
You belong to
but
the organization.
The other side is the risk, which you had already mentioned, because the unethical practitioners also benefit, but then they can also put the individuals, the association's identity at stake.
At stake. It has happened. It has happened in our case. I was representing previously one organization, and there actually those people many people actually told me and quit the organization, telling that your organization is having extortionists. Your organization is having these people who are not, and they actually told me that your representations are being misused by them.
Yeah, that is something which I am also extremely careful in the council, that who do I endorse. And becoming a council member is one thing, but do I personally, because if I'm endorsing something as a national president, I have to be extremely careful.
Yes.
What kind of initiatives can be endorsed, because now the council is for everybody.
Yes.
But then having the position like you and me, we have to be careful what kind, like ethics come into discussion again here,
Yeah.
And you are one of them. I'm very proud of it, that you are able to exercise the council position, and you are utilizing it.
Yes.
And you also see that whenever there is this bottlenecks coming, I'm also putting a sort of little
Yes.
line of
Yeah,
push,
and I thank you for the same.
to do that, because somewhere the council also benefits, as you rightly put. I mean, it is a very clear win-win situation for
Yes.
both the expert or the practitioner or the water professional as well as the council. I mean, we have to thrive together. An individual only grows when the institution grows, and institutions never grow without individuals.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
It is very
So
mutual.
very well put, very mutual, very well put that way. So just to understand a little bit from there, what kind of activities do you think, apart from your super engaging activities, which you are already there with lakes and legal activities around to protect the rights or justice to the lakes and the water bodies, and even people, women for that matter. What do you think we can really do at Wiki Water Resource Council? More activities where we not only bond between each other as women leaders and women professionals, but then also we are able to nurture some skills amongst each other. Like, I mean, I have some strength and weakness, so as others and you. What kind of exchanges do you think we should really now start? Because we are inching towards 100 sessions, so we would like to now start doing something else as well. So we are gathering some, insights from all of you, and we will try to see how we can incorporate them. And everything has to be focused towards building leadership, because we do not really see the role of council. A technician ko we want to make a social engineer, no, or a social engineer ko technician, no. We would like to really help them upskill their leadership skills and continue doing what they are doing. So what is your advice to Wiki Water Resource Council? What kind of activities we must start doing now?
No, this is not an advisor, but it is a knowledge or idea sharing. Yes. Or open thinking also, yes. Because this I feel sad to say that this is on the mind of when I shared this idea, everybody loved it, but still it is not running on the ground. The one idea that we all can do together, because this idea is being so much, I mean, taken up by, I mean, they're owning it. What I loved about this, whenever I put this idea before somebody, they're just owning it up, but still it is not running on the ground. So I think we can simultaneously also do it at many cities, at number of cities, wherever Wiki chapters, WRC chapters are there. And the idea was this, which everybody was owning it up, is that I told them that we can draw water bodies, the water bodies, the surface water bodies, or even the wells we can take into consideration. And especially we, a proud Hyderabadis, we have a river in our city.
Which is in bad shape. Sorry.
It is in bad shape, but I want to only be very optimistic, telling that we will make it a river.
Riverfront is coming.
No, riverfronts are not required to make a river good, Otherwise, it will be a Sabarmati case. Yes. So, yeah. And we are more lucky because we have two huge historic century-old reservoirs in our city. We are very super lucky people. So I had planned that we will demarcate on the map, and we will take a cycle yatra to this lake.
Very well.
So we will demarcate at least, we'll make it as a fortnight long lake yatra. And the plan will be marked on the Google map, on the Google Earth. And we will set out. And now